Okay, Johnny, this one's got your number on it. Let's jam.
Hello and welcome again to a new episode of Cinema Jam. This is a mini jam. We're gonna do a recap of what we saw in the month of July, actually, when we were doing the summer in the sim cycle. So thank you, Pablo, for meeting with me again. I know we did this in Spanish already in our main episode, but I like to do the mini jams in English, so let's do this right now. So, as a recap, do you remember the movies that we just saw?
Hi, Sebas, and hi, everyone. Yeah, so in the month of July, we saw 4 movies about the topic of simulations, like simulation in general, then virtual reality in a way, and that
And heavy components and heavy pieces of sci-fi noir, I guess.
yes, there's a mix here between virtual reality, simulations, and then this neo-noir element. So we started off with a really good movie from Kathryn Bigelow called Strange Days.
Amazing movie.
An amazing movie. That's I'm forgetting the year that it came out. I think it's in the
1990.
six, maybe.
Five. Let me do that. Let's do that
Yeah,
again.
well, you look up the date, Sebas. That was the first movie that we saw. It's a movie about it's with Ralph Fiennes as the leading actor, a ex-cop, a former detective, turned a dealer of basically a sort of artificial drug, like this kind of like video drug that people plug or they jack.
Basically, they steal people's memories or record people's memories, and you feel and you live in the person for five
Exactly,
minutes, but it's addictive.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty cool.
in a way, it's not really a simulation. I think it's maybe closer to virtual reality in a way, but with elements from real life. And yeah, well, Ralph Fiennes did an amazing job as the leading man, and then we had Angela Bassett,
I
who
think that
was
was one of the best actresses that we saw in the cycle. We're gonna
yep,
talk a little bit about it later. Yeah,
I agree with that. But she wasn't the femme fatale. She was more the leading lady, the love interest.
like supporting character, I guess.
She was a secondary, yeah, she was a secondary character, but in the end, she became a bit more principal. The femme fatale in this one was, I forget who is.
Juliette Lewis, yeah.
Yes, as the former love interest of Ralph Fiennes' role character, and it's a great movie, closer to neo-noir, to film like more closer to something like Blade Runner in a way, in its look and feel and its depiction of a society at the verge of collapse and everything around the millennium. So that was pretty cool. And a
And it
great
was filmed in
soundtrack.
it was released in 1995. You were asking about that. So it was looking into the future, just 4 years, 5 years into the future. So kind of
Yeah.
ironic.
Yes. So that was the first one that we saw.
After that, we saw Dark City,
After
the
that, it was Dark City.
amazing, yeah,
Alex Proyas.
that's one of, I think, one of the best movies ever made. Actually, I think Dark City is way and beyond anything else, with a very well mix. We were a little bit mixed on the acting in that one. It was released in 1998, so a year before all this simulation craze with other movies like The Matrix and other that we saw. But it was an interesting acting by Rufus Sewell. I mean, he's more as a villain, so seeing him as the main character was kind of weird. I think a very young Jennifer Connelly, but a very good actress anyway, and she was a femme fatale and the main actress.
She was
And Kiefer Sutherland was actually a
yeah.
surprise because normally you're used to see him very cool, very like a different Kiefer Sutherland. So
Yeah. I wanted to say that Jennifer Connelly in this movie in Dark City, she was a femme fatale, but not the same way as we saw when we did our film noir cycle a couple of months ago. Because
yeah,
she had the image. There were a couple of moments in the movie when she was singing with the band, and she was all dressed in like this 50s and singing the kind of like the crooning of that age. But she wasn't really like playing any games or any sophisticated like schemes. She was more like someone that was, impacted by what was going on in this city, which by the way isn't. So we're no longer talking about virtual reality as we did in Strange Days, the first movie that we saw in the cycle. Now this is full on simulation. This is a movie that came, as you said, Sebas, before The Matrix. And I think we both agree that there's a lot of elements from the movie that we are very sure that they borrowed when they prepared the movie, when they were doing The Matrix.
Yeah, and talking about Jennifer Connelly is she's the temptation of the main character, but yeah, it's not like a traditional femme fatale in a movie. Well, the third one, you want me? Yeah, is As Color Darkly by Richard Linklater. Is it's a kind of strange movie because that one was more about the style they use rotoscoping on the movie, so it had a different look. It was also supposed to be in the future. It was released in 2006, but it's supposed to take place in the future where they have a new type of drug called Substance D. This one was more about mind manipulation than simulation, but it was still kind of in the future, kind of. I mean, it was more about, much more about the subtext was more about the political landscape and the fall of society through the drug and the manipulation of the corporations. So it was still a futuristic thing, but it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same, Sebas. It wasn't the same because it didn't have the virtual reality theme of Strange Days, not like the full-on simulation as Dark City. It was closer to Strange Days in the in the context of a drug
Addiction, yeah.
breaking society, causing havoc, and then leading to this situations where people didn't
And
know what
paranoia.
paranoia, people didn't know what was real, what wasn't real. This one, of course, took it to like level 10 or 11, if you like Spinal
11,
Tap.
yeah.
And I think the best or the most interesting thing of the movie was actually the rotoscoping, like the technique of transforming the movie that was filmed as a normal motion movie into a sort of graphical novel, kind of like an animation. That was both, I guess, I saw it more as a gimmick, to be honest, something that was more to make it attractive. And as we discussed when we reviewed the movie, it distracted a lot from what was actually going on in the story. I felt that way. And we had some good acting in that movie. I mean, we both really liked the guy
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson and the other guy, the guy the guy that went full on paranoia at the beginning.
Roddy Cochrane
Thank you.
as Charles Freck.
Yes, he was really good. You have Keanu Reeves doing Keanu Reeves, and
Winona Ryder doing
Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
And then Robert Downey Jr. with one of his over-the-top performances that, too
The
much.
thing though,
Too much for me.
after we talk about it, I was thinking a little bit that, I mean, while his acting was very annoying, at least there was a justification on that he was a paranoid and kind of a schizophrenic addict. So in that sense, okay, maybe it made a little bit of sense, but still I didn't like the acting in there. Yeah. And the last movie is something that you bring to the table.
Yeah, that was my nomination. It was a movie that I wanted to revisit again. One movie that I had in back of my memories about the 90s that I wanted to see again and talk to Sebas and share with the audience. It's called The Third, and is a movie from 1999. It actually came about 2 months after The Matrix was released. So it was a movie. I insist that it was downplayed both commercially and critically because of how good The Matrix was. But that doesn't mean that the movie is bad. I think it's just that when you have something like The Matrix, such a chef d'oeuvre, like a masterpiece,
yeah.
then you definitely. I mean, it's complicated to compare. But the story, I guess, as we both agree that the complexity of the story, that the topics that were treated in the story of the 13 were way more complex, more deep than actually what the Matrix, did in the movie. Like the concept of a simulation within the simulation, and then potentially more layers of simulations on top that we don't know of, and characters realizing that there's actually an actual end of the world in their simulations, which was both the coolest thing, the kind of like the build up that we were all like waiting for, but that was also like the weakest part of the movie, like
Yeah,
that build
the
up
third
to
act was kind of weird. Yeah.
real like the build up to realizing that they were actually living in simulation was like so cool that that when it actually happened, it was more like a letdown. It felt cheap in a way, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a really good story, an amazing performance from Vincent D'Onofrio, and well, the leading man Craig Bierko, not so good, but the story's the story is so strong that you don't really get distracted by it. So
I
that's
I enjoyed it was a surprise how much I enjoyed this story. I didn't have a good memory of the movie, but I really enjoy it. But yeah, I think with another leading man, something more charismatic or that can really, something, I don't know. I was thinking like a Leonardo DiCaprio now, for example, someone that can be able to really play different characters within characters because he's supposed to play three characters. It
yeah.
would have worked much better than Virko, but he definitely cannot play a villain, and and that's a shame. So let's confirm. So in the end, we decided to rank it as first Dark City, Strange Days second, 13th Floor third, and the last is A Scanner Darkly. That was our like okay, Summer in the Sim or these futuristic noirs movies. This is how we classify them. Okay, so what would you believe is the major discovery, like your major surprise in this July summer in this?
I think, well, realizing that the 13th Floor was actually a very good movie, I would say is a big rediscovery. Sometimes you watch movies when you were younger and you kind of like attach, you develop this sentimental attachment to them, but then you watch them again and they're not that good. It wasn't the case in this, when we saw the 13th Floor. It was actually very, very good. So I would say so that that's my biggest discovery overall. And then the second one, if I may, is what a good actor Vincent D'Onofrio is. He appeared in two of the movies. He was in Strange Days as one of the cops that killed the rapper, and then he was also one of he played two characters in the 13th Floor.
And
Very very
very
distinct,
different
like very
characters.
different. Yeah. So from that, he did a great job, and he's one of those actors that I think are like underestimated, undervalued, underappreciated.
Yeah.
So yep, those are my two main discoveries. What about you, Sales?
I think Strange Days, I mean, I have fond memories of the movie. I remember seeing it a long time ago in VHS. I don't even think in DVD. I think it was actually VHS or something like that. It was so
Nice.
long ago. Watching it again and how good it was, the rhythm, the plot, the even if I saw it, the plot kept surprising me. It wasn't like obvious what was happening. And yeah, I really, really enjoy Strange Days. And I'm surprised it's not has really not catch up to the public like a cult. I mean, it's not available. It's not easy to read to watch.
Not easy to find. It's not easy to find.
You cannot even buy it online, or I think there is some old DVDs that you can buy, but they are like super expensive because it was such a limited print. So, and the other one is Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean, even though I'm used to seeing him in Daredevil and other movies, watching him so young, like at the beginning of his career, and with so much presence and so menacing because he's very tall. Yeah, he's yeah, it was great seeing him like in this stage of his career and why he grew up to be like a good villain. So like in the Kingpin in Daredevil, I really enjoy it. What was your like the biggest disappointment from the four movies?
I want to say it's kind of darkly.
It's kind of
Yeah, it's kind of darkly because the first time I watched it, I fell asleep during some sections because it was really it wasn't a, it's not a slow movie. I mean, the animation keeps things very fluid, but the dialogues sometimes are very away. I don't know. I remember not connecting to the movie the first time that I watched it, and now for the podcast, I
the
felt the
same.
same way. Although I didn't fall asleep. So I guess the disappointment is that I did not change my mind. I was hoping that I was like, since I'm doing this for the podcast and we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna analyze it. Maybe I'm gonna try and find something like mesmerizing about it, but there wasn't really anything. I think it's a really weak movie, even though the story, the book from Philip K. Dick, it might be way more interesting. I'm guessing there are some cool ideas behind it, but the transformation of movie novel into script and movie, no, disappointing.
Yeah, for me actually it's the same, especially because I'm so used to liking Richard Linklater movies because of that dialogue. Normally they are very compact and you feel like fluid and you never lose interest. There was something in this one that never really catch my interest. Yeah, it felt slow, it felt long. It wasn't that long, but it felt like 2 hours and a half. And I think it was only an hour and 40 minutes. It's one of the things, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised how little because I remember watching a Waking Life. In the episode, I said Walking Life is Waking Life. And I like the Apollo 10 and a half as well, that is in the same style. But in this case, it didn't like really match up or really add anything to the story. So it was another disappointment. Okay, so which one was your favorite hero or main character?
That's a good one.
I'm going to say it right away.
Ralph
Ralph
Fiennes.
Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes, by far, by far.
I mean, character might be the one from Dark City, but the actor is Ralph Fiennes, definitely.
I actually liked William Hurt in Dark City,
Well, that's more like a supporting character, yeah.
but he was very good. I was comparing him to the detective in the 13th floor. The difference, in not just in acting, because both are really good actors. William Hurt, and I'm forgetting the name of the guy in the 13th floor. It's the same guy that played the driver in Heat, the cook turned driver in the famous bank robbery. But it's more like what the character adds to the movie. In the 13th floor, it did not really contribute much. He did appear many times with Craig Birko, and it was supposed to be helping, like, explain a little what was going on, but it was not giving something good in addition to the story. In Dark City, he did William Hurt, and he does an amazing acting. His performance is really good. Ralph Fiennes and William Hurt.
Talking a little bit about the Dennis Haysbert, that's the actor that you mentioned in
Yep.
the detective Larry McBain in the 13th floor. Maybe the detectives in this one are probably, sorry, in all of the movies, basically, except William Hurt. Like, that was one of my disappointments now that I think about it. Like, there was no real investigation in most of the movies, except in Dark City. In the other ones, things were happening. It was like kind of strange. Like the police wasn't very good, and especially Keanu Reeves. We talk about it. That what is he a cop? He's not investigating nothing. He's just hanging around in a flat in an apartment in a house, drugging himself. So like, okay, where is the cop? Where is the detective? I didn't see any of that. Okay. The other question is, okay, the leading lady or the femme fatale that you like the most. I think we agree that is Jennifer Connelly in Dark City, at least as a leading lady, right?
Yes, as the leading lady, it is well, actually, as the no, yeah. Let me correct myself. Yes, as the leading lady, definitely Jennifer Connelly takes the spot. But I still wanna bring up Gretchen Mol from the 13th floor. I insist, Sebas, the few scenes where Craig Burkle, the guy, the leading man, actually was able to do something useful with his acting, were the scenes when they were just the two of them. Like there was good chemistry between the two, and
Yeah.
when they did the dance in the middle of the movie, for me that was the most neo-noir of the cycle that we saw, alongside the scenes with Jennifer Connelly singing in Dark City. Like the most neo-noir, like not even neo-noir, more like film noir, like a more traditional, the center spot, the femme fatale, really like influencing the leading man. I still think Rachel Moll did a really good job in the 13th floor, but
Yeah,
Jennifer
when she
Connelly
was
takes the
playing
first one.
Jane Fuller, I think she did a great job. And you're right. I mean, she really played it like a femme fatale in that case. So yeah, it's not about femme fatale. Yeah. And so supporting actor or supporting, it can be female or male, or you can want to say, I mean,
We both agree that Angela
yes.
Bassett from Strange Days, she kicked ass. She was amazing.
And also from the Strange Days, Tom Sizemore, I think he was amazing.
He
Yeah,
was
he
really
did
good.
actually a very good job.
Actually, Tom Sizemore and Vincent D'Onofrio kind of like did a very similar performance in a way. Like they both had like this kind of like off,
Like the
sinister,
silly.
like a silly, but not like a silly funny, more like a silly sinister, like disturbing performance in both. Like in the 13th floor when he was the bartender, he was also trying to look affable, like approachable, like a nice guy, but you could see that he was not like he wasn't a good guy actually at all.
He was hiding something.
He was hiding something, and it's the same thing that he did that Tom Sizemore did in Strange Days. He was also trying to play cool and nice, but you knew right away that there was something behind. So I think both of them did a very similar performance, and the two of them were amazing supporting actors.
Yeah, those. I also, and William Hurt. We also talk about William Hurt in,
Yes.
yeah, in Dark City. Yeah, I think those they did a great job. I agree. Angela Bassett in Tom Sizemore, and in Strange Days, and in the 13th floor. I really like. I mean, outstanding acting from Vincent D'Onofrio and Freck in what is it, Roach? Rory Cochrane from Scanner Darkly. I also thought he did an excellent job being that paranoid and drug addict was gay.
He was the only one of all the characters in that movie that actually gave you that sense of paranoia. None of the other ones. The other ones were more just like they could be acting in a completely like different story. Like it didn't show. It didn't come as being like completely like crumbling and like completely like full on paranoia. But this guy, yes.
Yeah, and it's strange because they didn't even seem to be in the same movie. Some cases in Scanner Darkly was quite strange. And okay, is there a movie that, I mean, if we come back to this genre like neo noir, I mean, we talk in one of the episodes that we consciously didn't choose Blade Runner because obviously Blade
Nor The
Runner,
Matrix.
nor the Matrix in the sim or in the sci-fi noir. I mean, we were combining both genres. Like we could actually separate them because, yeah, the Matrix is sim and Blade Runner is the example of sci-fi noir. So we could actually talk about them, but we choose not to include those because those are the defining, basically everything will be compared to those movies. Kind of,
Yep.
kind of like Dark City, to be honest. When we watch again Dark City, I was like, okay, this one should be like in the pantheon like way, because this one basically gave us the template for the rest of the movies to evaluate, and
Yeah.
that kind of happens. I don't know if there is any other movie that you think that maybe in the future you want to include in revisit to the genre.
To the genre.
It can be simulation or sci-fi noir or neo-noir. I mean, I did
Yeah.
talk about the neo-noir. I wanted to break the Ryan Johnson,
Mhm.
like the first original feature from Ryan Johnson, that is basically a noir in a school, in a high school, but that's more like a neo-noir. It's not sci-fi. It's no sci-fi elements in that one, or no simulation elements in that one.
Well, in terms of movies, I think I want to go back and watch again Casablanca. It's been
Like a
ages,
pure noir. Mhm.
like a pure noir, like just to kind of like revisit what the real genre is about. That would be one thing in terms of movies. Maybe Casablanca, or I've always wanted to watch I think it's called The Third Man. It's supposed to be also one of those like movies from the
Orson
50s
Welles,
that from
like
Orson Welles.
upstanding, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe those two. But more than movies, after watching this cycle, there's two books that I really want to read. And the first one, the foremost, the one that I really want to have in my list, on top of the list, is Simulacrum 3 from the 13th Floor, the novel on which the movie is based. I think there are some very interesting ideas that were in the movie that were actually like part of the story of the movie that I want to understand a bit more. And maybe there's more in the book because if there are more, universes and more simulations on top of the one that the movie ended in, I want to know more about it. So I think that book and the story from Philip K. Dick, the one that the Scanner Darkly is based on, again, just to give it the benefit of a doubt that maybe the book is better than the movie because Dick is an amazing writer. So I guess those two will be my two next things.
Yeah, I actually, you mentioned existence when we were talking about last week in the 13th floor, like it came that out that year as well. That one might be an interesting one. I have a soft spot. I mean, I haven't watched it in many years. Virtuosity with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe might be an interesting one in the simulated genre. And I forgot when I was Googling it, like other simulation movies, Vanilla Sky. Vanilla Sky from with
Oh,
Tom Cruise, or the original from
Abre los ojos, the original from
Abre los
Amenábar.
Ojos from Amenábar.
Yes.
I think those will be an interesting one to explore, maybe in a
Sebas, of
revisit.
course.
Yeah.
I think we can do one more attempt at
Yeah.
virtual reality and simulation.
Yeah, there are a couple that are interesting. Even the Truman Show technically is also like a construct, just for one person, like a simulated town for us,
Well,
like the Dark City.
if we stretch the definition a bit more, we could even watch Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Actually, yes, that's a good one. Yeah, I love that movie. It's been a while since I watched it again. Yeah,
I want to
well, but
watch that
yeah,
one.
yeah, I'm
I want
getting
to.
excited maybe to revisit
I want to watch
this
that
a
one,
little bit.
Sebas.
We can
As
maybe
another.
find non-traditional romances or something like that, or maybe we can yeah, we can explore an off-topic genre, like it won't end good romance, something like that, and we can include some horror movies in that one, because if you think about it, it's kind of like a horror romance in that one, in Eternal Sunshine from a Spotless Mind.
So
Okay.
I just remember one quick thing that I discovered, or I realized after watching the movies in this cycle that we just did. I just realized how much I like seeing movies where either the leading lady or the femme fatale or like someone that has a very important role in the movie does some of the singing herself. In Strange Days, it was Juliette Lewis. She sang and she was amazing.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Connelly also sang in Dark City.
In the director's cut.
Yes, in the Dexter Scott. Actually, I went on YouTube and it was actually better than the movie. And
Yeah.
I want to actually recommend. Shoot, I have to be careful with my words here because it's a really bad movie, but it has a very cool scene in the middle. It's Carnival of Souls, but not the movie from the 60s, the remake. And that remake actually has, I'm looking it up right now in IDBM, it's Shawnee Smith. Shawnee Smith, an actress. She's not the leading lady in this one in Carnival of Souls. She's the sister of the leading lady who's called Bobby Phillips. But there's a scene in a bar, because they have a bar, the two sisters, where she sings and it's like super neo-noir, Sebas. She's like like the whole bar just like stops to listen, and she sings, sorry, in her own voice. She sang like fully, like for real. And just that scene is amazing, but the rest of the movie is crap. So just one thing I realized, how much I like, when actresses do their own singing.
Well, now that you bring Carnival of Souls, I think it's a good idea to talk about the next cycle that we're going to do in August. So we're going to be talking about the Carnival of Fear, where we
Carnival of
will
Fear.
be talking about scary clown movies. We're going to be talking about, obviously, It. We're not going to talk about the Tim Curry one. We're going to go to the 2017 version. And we're also going to be talking about Clown House, a very polemic movie from Victor Salva. We will be watching Santa Sangre, the Jodorowsky movie from the, I don't even know when it was made, in the 85, something like that. We also going to be watching, what are the last two movies?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, one of those beautiful gems from the late 80s, and also
That's gonna
Terrifier.
be my therapy, because that movie scared me the crap out of me when I was a kid.
And you haven't watched Terrifier yet, right?
No, Terrifier. I
Okay.
watched the short, the original short, before
Oh, how
Terrifier and
was he?
before the other movie,
Yeah.
and oh wow, that one scared me. So I don't know how I'm going to do. How I'm going to finish Terrifier, the full movie.
You're gonna like it. I'm gonna have fun. This is really like right down my alley. It's kind of movies.
I know. This is you like scary movies, so this is going to be perfect. Okay, everyone, thank you very much. Keep jamming about movies, and see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alice.